everyone, and welcome down to episode number 105 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia. And the dude on the other screen, or in your other ear if you're listening to the podcast, it's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia, with his festive background on. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Brendan. I don't think you're going to be able to bleep that out at the start. I don't. I think it's.
Dude.
I know. I think that's going to be way too close to bleep out that word before we start.
Well,
anyway,
if the first thing you heard on the podcast was a bleep, well, you know
bleep.
why. Cameron swears a lot before we go on air. Everyone,
Don't say that. Don't say that. I had
swears.
I had someone tell customers that I swear all the time. I said that's bullshit. I don't.
That's right, exactly.
No. I can be professional when need be.
You can. I'm
sometimes.
Excited, Cameron.
Are you?
Because this is like we almost have had a show out regularly over the last couple of weeks. This is exciting.
But we're pretty good. We're pretty consistent. Like
we're relatively consistent. Yes,
we're a lot more consistent than some other things that happen on podcasts and stuff like that. So in Australia, I would say we'd have to be up there with not only are we the most popular Australian photography podcast,
number one,
but we'd have to be one of the most consistent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that comes down to, Brendan?
What's that, mate?
We're good mates, and we'd like to chat. We're not fake. We don't make stuff up. We don't put on all this fake friendship as if we really like each other. We actually do. No. We're good mates, and
that's right.
I think that's that's the ingredients to a good show.
I think it comes across. I have news that I'm sure that this person won't mind me sharing. Ash Hughes, a regular listener to the show and has been on the show a couple of times.
I've heard news about him too.
Yeah, he's relocating north.
He's to Queensland.
He's going to be an up north photo shower.
Why has he done that?
I don't know. I think the lure of the weather, couldn't hack our cold down here, so he's scurried off to the northern climates.
He's away with the family. Forgive me, I don't know his wife's name, but she and him are traveling around the world, obviously around Australia. So they've got to Queensland and thought, hang on a sec.
That would be the lovely Katrina. Yes,
Katrina. Why are we not stopping here more often?
Well, I guess so, and that's good on them. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, that's awesome.
Yeah, and good luck to Ash up north. I'm sure he'll continue to listen to the show because this podcast goes worldwide, Cameron. I know this because I have looked up some of our stats.
Have you got stats?
I would come armed with stats.
I totally thought you were going to. I reminded you a couple of hours ago, and I thought you were still going to forget.
No,
well done.
There. I just wanted to. Normally, we go on about the YouTube subs, which is 725 or something like that. Now, thank you very much for everyone who has liked, subscribed, and followed the channel. But for those of you listening in your other ear, who only listen to the show, which is great, I love the fact that we can do a photography podcast with listeners. It doesn't actually have to be visual. We can talk to you about photography and like a radio show that we are. 16,200 downloads of the show since its inception, which is pretty bloody awesome.
That's good.
I'm excited by that. Now, if you would like to know where people listen, all right, Cameron, what percentage of our listeners are from the land down under?
What percentage?
What percentage of our listeners make from Australia?
Oh, I'd say it's going to be pretty high. I'm going to say 84%.
That is 100% correct. It's almost like you read my mind.
No, it's not.
It's 84%. 84% of our listeners are from Australia. That is correct.
Oh, bullshit.
You nailed it in one. That's one to you. And our second most popular country, Cameron.
Is it the Republic of Congo? No.
It was for a while.
Our second most popular country. Oh,
people are yelling at their screen. They're saying, "I know what it is."
It's not New Zealand.
Correct.
It's
not New Zealand.
No, I think it's England.
The United Kingdom. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it's
there you go. Shout out to all the UK listeners.
Absolutely. We've got quite a few listeners over there. If you are listening from a country other than Australia, or even if you are listening from Australia, leave a comment below. We're always interested to know where people are tuning in from and what you get from the show, if you get anything at all other than just a couple of dudes talking crap about photography every week.
Well, we had someone mention something the other day about the camera clubs, and they were a camera club in the UK.
Didn't our camera club episode rate well?
I thought it might.
It did. It was good.
I got a funky earpiece going on here, but that's all right. Keep going.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, no, the camera club conversation is a good one.
Yes.
And it's a good one because it's always relevant. And as we know, we've got a lot of people that listen to the show that are in camera clubs.
Yes.
So it's relevant. And like we said on the show, I think camera clubs are still relevant. We actually had a few emails and don't think that we haven't listened to, but I got a couple of emails about people asking for ideas about what we think and how we might look at changing things or what we'd do if we were in charge type of thing.
Of a camera club, you mean?
Of a camera club, yeah. We will get back to those people as well as soon as we can. So it was interesting. Yeah, it certainly raised a bit of conversation, which is what it's all about.
No, I loved it. And I think it did sort of turn a bit of a spotlight on some camera clubs that might be battling a little bit to get new members.
Yeah.
It might be time that things were torn up and redone.
Well, a couple of people said, I think there was two that said that they were folding at the end of the year because they didn't have members.
Yeah.
I don't know which ones they were, but so it's relevant. But yeah, we'll get back to those people that emailed, but it's a relevant conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what I was actually surprised about? We didn't get our asses handed to us with comments saying that we're putting down camera clubs. Everyone actually took it on the vibe that we gave it on, which is good.
Yeah, so, no, we're all for camera clubs.
Totally.
And like I said last week, if there was an 8th day in the week, which we're going to call Bren's Day, I would I would definitely run a camera club here on the Ballerine. That'd be awesome. Here in Ocean Grove, at least. I wouldn't. There's already one on the Ballerine. I'll get in trouble.
I was going to say, you just lost you're a card carrying member. You've just lost that card.
And sponsor.
Sponsor. Are they sponsoring? Huh. Oh, you sponsor them, not them.
Oh, well, I offer club members a discount on printing and things like that at my store.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You could see that as some form of sponsorship, I would suppose.
You know, something we didn't get during the week, which I thought we might have, but we didn't.
Yes.
We didn't get it. We didn't get any jingles. No one made any jingles up for us.
I know for a fact that there is someone working on a jingle for us as we speak, which we might need to break out in 2024, but we will
is
see.
it going to be suitable for listening to, or
it should be. You know,
it's not your daughter playing bass, is it?
How good was that?
Pretty cool.
Yes. I was chuffed. Did I mention this on the show last week? I probably did. Anyway,
you did that. You said the iPhone 15 was crap.
That's right.
It wasn't,
correct.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good at all.
Well, I look forward to our new jingle. Is it the opening jingle?
That's being worked on, as well as a few other things, like an intro to Dear Cam is being worked on.
Oh God! So, do I know this person? Did you say?
You absolutely do. This is going to a whole new level. This podcast in 2024. You just wait and see.
Is that level up or down?
Exactly. I'll have to work even harder in the edit, Cam, that I do at all hours of the morning for you, for us.
I was going to say not for me, for us, mate. Come on. I just gave you a rap being a mate. Now you'd throw me in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
what do we do now? We talk about backgrounds. Cameron, what's your background?
My background. Oh, look, I didn't take this photo. I ripped it off the internet.
Is this from Google Images?
I don't know where it's from. It's just I just typed in Christmas Zoom background. This is. Look at that. It's even got a fireplace. How good is it?
I like the exposure. I think the composition is good. The image is overall well balanced.
It's a lovely shot and the lighting is great. I'm not sure about the overall beige theme of the Christmas there, but the fire looks fake because the logs aren't burning, but that's okay. But you said, oh, we're going to dress up in Christmas attire. And I went crazy running around the house asking the kids what they had. We had no reindeer ears, no Santa suit, no hat, no nothing. So that's the best I could come up with was a background that I ripped off the internet.
And some people are saying, Brendan, where's your Christmas attire? And the very eagle-eyed viewers will know exactly where my Christmas attire is, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, you've got the Nagasaki, the Die Hard t-shirt on, haven't you? Speaking of our shoes, going back to the second best host of this show, there we go, Nakatomi Plaza. Yeah. He wanted to see you in a Santa suit. He made a comment just before we came online that he wanted to see you dressed up in a Santa suit. I was hoping that
I actually own a Santa suit and can't be bothered putting it on. So sorry.
I was actually hoping that Mrs. Waits might rock up in a Santa suit.
Mrs. Waits, her appearance on the show last week was met with some feedback as well. Some very positive feedback, of course. They thought it was great to see the far better half on screen.
Does she remember being a feature on the show?
She probably doesn't remember much about Sunday, but that's another story. This is my background right here. This is the Barwon Heads Bridges. I've actually used this as a background before. I'm so slack at the moment, guys. I'm flat out busy, and I'm sort of cobbling together the Down South Photo Show for my good listeners. But that is the wonderful Barwon Heads Bridges, which are just an absolute icon in this area and fantastic to photograph under all conditions.
I'm sorry that we're putting you out to have to actually go and do stuff for the show.
So you should be. So you damn well should be. But no.
But the amount of money you're raking in, Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. You know I would never miss an episode of the Down South Photo Show.
Well, it's fair to say that you have been on absolutely every episode of this show.
All 105 of them to this point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, getting back to the audio stats, 16,200 downloads.
Yes.
England was the second most behind Australia.
Correct.
Was there any other things that came out of those stats? Because
I haven't really done a deep dive, Cam. Struth. Okay. Which platform do you think people use the most to listen to us? I can give you that.
It's got to be Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts is number one.
Gee, I'd say all 3 from 3, yeah?
You are, with almost 55% of our listening audience on that platform. Second would be...
I'm going to go Spotify.
Correct. You were 4 for 4 tonight. Doing well.
Okay.
Spotify at 18.5%, followed by Google Podcasts after that.
So if we compare the audio downloads, 16,200, to the YouTube downloads,
yes,
they're fairly similar, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. So our audience is pretty well split between YouTube and the audio version. Yeah, it is good.
That's cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Also, we can go down further, and I want. Well, this is it. No, actually, no, that's not right. Sorry, I'm only looking for the last. I don't know. In the last week, other than last week's episode, what do you reckon the most listened to episode was?
The most listened to episode, apart from that live one that went live into every household in India,
which
doesn't count. I think it's probably the Overland track one.
Episode 77, live from the Overland. Correct. You're just nailing it all tonight. You just got it going on.
The only reason I know that, I think, is because it's Overland track season now, and I think everyone's Googling Overland track. So now they're watching that. But if you haven't watched it, what episode was it? 77.
77. Hello to Robin, who has headed off. She's going to have Christmas on the Overland. How amazing.
Oh, good. Good stuff.
Bought herself an OM5 off me to do that. So very excited. Watched our video on the Overland and said, I'm getting an OM5 just like Brendan had. So that's cool.
You're a trendsetter.
OM System, if you're listening, sponsorship. Now,
next
that's
question.
backgrounds talked about.
All right, that's it.
Cam, we're going to get into a main topic. One of the main topics tonight is a bit of a chestnut for you, Cameron, and a bit of a bugbear that you carried throughout, and at least you have stayed consistent right throughout the history of the show.
I will stay consistent, and it's not back button focus, because we had an email about back button focus. Someone almost unsubscribed to us because
that was quite funny. That was quite a funny email.
That was a very funny email because I hung too much shit on back button focus and Nikon. This is not back button focus, and it's not about Nikon. What it is about, and I'm starting to get my rant hat on again. I don't contrary to popular belief, I don't actually like ranting too much, but every time around about this time of year, we have a whole heap of photo competitions that happen. There's the International Landscape Award. There's this one. There's that one. They're everywhere. And without doubt, almost every year in the last handful of years, it's aerial photography winning these landscape photography. There we go. You've just put up an aerial on the background. They're winning these competitions hand over fist. And I'm just sick of it. I think it's becoming boring. Like aerials are great. Nothing taking away from the artist doing aerial and the people that get up there and take shots. It's great. You get that different perspective on landscapes. But for God's sake, so are they winning every shot, every competition because they're good? I don't get what these judges are looking at. Like people, like some of the top 50 that you see, there's some amazing landscape shots in there that I think just trample all over the ones that win or get in the top 5 of aerials. And I don't know why we're still, this has been going on for 10 years, since even when I was in the AIPP, It was Ariel. Ariel won this, Ariel won that. And it was a handful of people that used to be able to win them because they're the only ones that could afford to go up in a plane or a chopper. But surely we're past aerials. Like aerials have been going on for a long time. Surely we've got past them where an aerial shot of Iceland or an aerial shot of Lake Eyre or an aerial shot of somewhere that's so popular. Surely we've done with these aerials. I'm sick of them. And again, it's not anything to take away. They're great photos. They're very well done photos. Some of the people that are taking these aerials, we know they're not, there's no problem there at all. My rant is, for the love of God, can we move on from aerials in competitions winning, or give them a completely different category, not overall landscape, because it's just becoming so boring. Whenever I see these competition winners come out and I see the aerial, I'm like, okay, that's just a waste of time. Like, okay, well, wow, it's another shot of a volcano leaking, or it's another shot of some waterways in Iceland. Wow. Okay. I've seen 1,000 of them. And
those
it's just,
waterways in
yeah.
Iceland tend to
Oh,
be at the forefront of a lot of different comps I'm seeing around the place.
it's everywhere.
Yeah, and look, I kind of get it that they're beautiful images. There's no two ways about that.
There's
But you're
nothing wrong with
right.
the images.
I'm with you. I think it's reached saturation
Yep.
point where, and it's funny, you know, because when you get that top-down view on something, so the bird's eye view that most people call it, when you're looking straight down on a subject, it's almost like you've just got to sort of move, you just got to fly around a bit and you're going to sort it out. Like you're going to find a comp. Whereas I find creating compositions on the ground so for want of a better phrase, an aerial shot looking top down is almost two-dimensional. You know what I mean by that? Like when you're on the ground and you've got subjects that you can align, you can move, you know, you can move your position to align these subjects, you know, against a horizon, against, you know what I mean, against a sunset or sunrise, that sort of stuff. I think there's a lot more skill in ground-based landscape photography.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
please, I'll reiterate, that is not taking away from the fact that there are some stunning aerial photos out there. They're great. They are. But you're right. I think from a competition point of view, I think it's reached saturation point.
Yeah, I think so. And this is the thing, like this is a hard rant to have because I know plenty of people do aerials and have no problem with them and think they do some incredible stuff. This is more of a rant against the judges who just keep on making these aerial photography shots win everything. Like, surely the judges have been saturated beyond the point where they see an aerial pop up and go, oh, for Christ's sake, another aerial. Like, surely they're thinking this, but doesn't seem to be. One of the competition I'm referring to is the International Landscape Photography of the Year, which I think they announced the winners a week ago. And Australian photographer, Tony Hewitt. Tony, I've never met Tony. I maybe met him once or twice in the AIPP. Lovely guy. He's an absolute legend of the game. He's been around for years and he won with some aerial shots. But as soon as I saw the aerial shots, regardless of the subject matter, I just looked at them and go, okay, it's just another aerial collection winning some shots. But when you scroll down through the competition, you know, there's some second place and third place shots, which are ground-based traditional landscape shots. And they're stunning shots. And it's just like, that's more interesting. The execution of that shot, the location, the composition, that's more interesting to me than a shot down from a plane or whatever it might be. So yeah, it's a bit of a rant, but I hope next year in 2024, hopefully some people that listen to this show, maybe we've got some judges who give us 2 seconds of their time. But can we just stop awarding first prize to landscape aerials all the time? Or it's just it's like when you watch, you know, like a sport, and it's like the Australian cricket team at the moment. They win every time in Australia. Like they're unstoppable at winning at home. It's boring.
Yeah.
Like
and they're getting 12,000 people turn up to a test.
12,000 people turn up to a test. But and the reason is because people are just bored with it. It's the same with aerials. Like I'm just bored with aerials. Like I've been off the belt bandwagon for aerials for a long time. And yes, I've done aerials, and yes, I own a drone and I do all that kind of stuff. But I just don't see why every competition has to have aerials rating really highly all the time or winning. I think it's just saturated and it's boring, and we need to move on and start rewarding some of these people that, you know, they do hike in a week to get these incredible shots, or they go through this incredible weather event to get these shots on the ground. To me, that there needs to be more emphasis put on the effort getting the shots versus just the opportunity.
Yeah, I think you made the point a few weeks ago that not everyone can get a helicopter and jump in a
no,
plane and, you know, get
no,
to these places and go to Iceland and all that sort of stuff.
no.
Which I don't know. I mean, is it an unfair advantage? I don't know. These people have paid their
Yeah, well,
hard
I
earned
don't.
to go do it and shoot these places.
Yeah,
I mean, each their own, and that's totally fine. And you know,
yeah.
I'm definitely envious of people that have those kind of opportunities to travel to those places. And I wouldn't want to rob them of that opportunity at all. But I think the point you're trying to make is enough already.
Yeah, look again, like if people have the ability and the time and the effort to go up and do these shots, like, you know, I speak to TP a fair bit and he does lots of aerials, you know, and sometimes he spends hours in a plane sort of lying on, you know, down and taking shoot straight down. Like there's effort involved, but it's almost like, you know, if you can get an aerial shot over Iceland or over a volcanic landscape or over some sort of salt lake or something like that, or waterway, you're almost guaranteed a top 10 in every competition in the world. And I just don't think that's, like I said, this is more of a rant at the judges. I think the judges need to have a reality check
Yeah.
that, you know what, like aerials are good, but if you just keep rewarding these aerials over and over and over and over again, you're stuck in this rut and people are going to lose interest and probably have already. I
Yeah.
know in the AIPP, when every aerial shot won the landscape photographer of the year for years, people just stopped entering. Like they just gave up.
Yeah. Because they
So,
weren't going to get
like,
anywhere. I
yeah,
find, I mean, and I could be wrong because I don't pay a lot of attention to photo comps. I honestly don't. Um, I think it's trends tend to last a good 4 or 5 years with photography
yeah,
competitions. I could probably, and over the last 20 plus years that you know, that I've even had a passing interest in this sort of stuff. You can go back to, like, you know, the HDR was huge
mm,
around from
yeah,
2000 to
yeah,
2004, 2005, you know, and I'm trying to think what other photography that, you know, and then there was a lot of raised blacks and high contrast, you know,
yeah,
landscape and borderline digital manipulation photographs then really took off towards the
yeah.
back of the 2010s. And now it's aerial stuff.
But these aerials have been around, like I would say, easily 10 years.
Yeah.
Easily 10 years. In the
Time to
AIPP,
turn the page, people. Turn the
well, it's just,
page.
I'd love to have a look if we could canvas, not what we can because we don't have time to do it, but if you canvassed all the major photography awards over the last 10 years and did a percentage of which ones were won by an aerial shot, it'd be in the 80s,
Yeah,
85, 86%
yeah, it'd be
easily.
pretty high. It would be pretty high.
And I just think it's just a shout out to the judges. Can we move on from aerials? Like, it's beyond repetitive and it's just a bit boring. Like I
Hmm.
said, it's like watching Australia play Pakistan at the WACA or at Perth on an absolute highway. Like it's just boring.
Do you know they're pulling the
So
whacker down?
are they?
The whacker is disappearing.
Well,
I find that a little sad.
it is pretty sad.
I'm a
Um,
traditionalist, though.
anyway, that's my rant. I'll get it out there for the end of the year. Aerials, just look, good luck. Congratulations to the people that win.
Yeah,
Like, there's nothing against them. Like you said, they're doing the hard work and they're taking the photos and processing them all and editing them all there. But judges, like, can we just mix it up a bit?
yeah.
You know, go out
Um,
on a limb, do something different.
our January comp will be aerials, folks. So get your entry. No, I'm joking.
Shit.
That's not going to happen.
No,
Yep. Okay. I'm with you. I'll
sorry.
follow you. I think last year or maybe the year before around this time, we did an entire episode dedicated to what you would buy the photographer in your life for Christmas.
We did.
I think we're going to maybe put a different sort of spin on that this year. I reckon we need to rack our brains. Questions without notice. I reckon we need to rack our brain on what we might, as professional landscape photographers,
Yeah.
what we might like for Christmas this year. I mean, I tell you what I would like, and I'm really
If you say a flight, an aerial flight, I'm cutting this episode off now.
over Iceland.
Over Iceland.
I've really been researching this lately. Cam and I are determined for 2024 to make the channel a little fresher, a little different.
Try to.
And what I've been noticing over the last little while with
Are you cutting me off
YouTubers,
the show?
no, with YouTubers in particular, one Thomas Heaton,
Oh
Photo
yes.
Tripper,
We are not doing
uh,
daily vlogs.
James Popsis. I like the way they YouTube. we wanted to do a couple of things in the field. So we're going to go out. Cam's going to do it in Tassie. I'm going to do it here around the Great Ocean Road or the Bellarine Peninsula. We're just going to do short little tips and stuff, tricks, stuff while we're out. We're gonna film some stuff while we're out in the field. We're gonna edit it together. We're gonna chuck it up on the YouTube channel. And one thing I want Santa to put in his sack for me is that little DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
I've got one of those.
Don't tell me you've got one.
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah, I think they're awesome. He's going, people. He's looking around for it. He's going to he's disappearing into the fire. Cam, you've gone into the fire. Get out of the fire, Cameron.
Sorry.
He's gone. No, he's hunting for it. See, this is definitely questions.
I do have one. I do have one, and they are awesome fun.
Yeah, I think they're incredible, and I think for all you vloggers and YouTubers out there, linked in description, DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
Osmo 3. Is there a third one now?
The third one has come out. It looks amazing. It has like a vlogger's kit for it and things like that. Basically, folks, what it is, it's a handheld video camera with a little gimbal on the top that does steady cam like footage, and you can do it on your own.
Pretty damn good.
They are good, and you don't have to have a film crew or anything with you. It's like a film crew in your pocket.
They are good. The one I've got, I think, is the 2.
Yeah.
And I give mine to 5-Star Dan when we're out and about. He does a bit of behind the scenes stuff. They are incredibly steady.
Yes.
You know what they also do? They don't have the biggest, obviously the biggest sensor in them, but they do panoramas. Very, very cool. You set it up and you just go doot, 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 and does all the shots together.
Well, the Osmo 3 has a 1-inch sensor, I believe. So
I'm looking at it now. Where do I buy one, Brendan?
They have I
know
it's
big. It's got a bigger screen on it.
It's got a screen that actually rotates as well. So you can rotate your screen from vertical to landscape. Cameron has just added one to his Santa sack.
Yeah, so, well, not at $849, I haven't.
They ain't the cheapest thing going around, but
the screen rotates. That's cool.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the screen rotates. You can get a battery pack extender and all this kind of stuff for it. So we are not sponsored in any way by this company, and I haven't even tried the bloody thing. But from what I'm seeing, particularly from Tom Heaton when he uses his, the results are great. One feature I love about it is active track, where I can put it on a tripod and basically walk around a scene and explain what I'm trying to shoot in the background, and it'll follow me. So I think I'm almost certain that one of them is going to find its way under my Christmas tree this year.
Yeah, like I said, I've got the 2, and it's really cool. And it's like it spins around watching you and spins around watching the other way. I've actually had 2 of them. I had the first one and I had the second one. Yeah, but I didn't know a third one had come out. Now you've got me chomping at the bit. So if you had a sack, if Santa's sack was big enough, you put one of those in.
Definitely. And what about you, Cam? Have you got your eye on anything for Christmas from a photography point of view, or are you one of these guys that's hard to buy for because you've got it all?
You know what? I'm going to lay my heart on the line here and tell you some home truths, right, about me. I'm one of these people. I am. I'm one of these people who, growing up, I was never disrespectful, but I was always one of those people that always got a little bit down at Christmas time because I'd be like, oh, I'd really like one of those, but I either couldn't afford it or my parents couldn't afford it or whatever, it was out of reach. And you get to Christmas Day and you're like, oh, I really would want of those. And okay, I'd get a bit down on it. So when I started working and started earning my own money, I'm sort of one of these guys that just buys things I need or want as I go along. And for me, Christmas is not necessarily about gifts anymore. It's more about just spending time with friends and family and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really get much for Christmas each year because I generally just get what I need throughout the year.
As you go. Yep.
As you go. But if I could ask for one thing, and I don't know if Lisa's watching or listening, I don't know what it would be. I'm still trying to nail a good backpack.
Yeah.
A good camera backpack. That's one thing I still don't have. I've got a Crumpler one at the moment, which is good. I do like the f-stop bags, and they've got some good bags that have come out recently as well. So maybe I would ask for one of those, perhaps.
I'm absolutely in love with my backpack. I finally put that low pro big orange thing to use.
Yes.
And brilliant. Holds all my gear perfectly, everything. So really, really happy. I think it's a Trekker 4. I can't remember what it's called, but it's it's really, really good.
How many liters is it? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't got it here. That's questions without notice, Cameron.
Okay. So yeah, if I'm
going to say that it's probably 10.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty small-ish.
Is 10 small, is it?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, but if I could ask for something, it'd probably be a backpack that I actually like. So
There you go.
but
Okay.
but I am a bit tricky to buy for.
Mm-hmm.
So well, now looking at this Osmo Pocket 3, like I'm almost pressing buy now on the Shopee.
Yeah, it's very
Oh,
tasty. It's a very,
it's
very cool product. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, getting back to sorry what you said earlier about us going out in the field and things like that. Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. I want to do a bit more of that this year or next year coming up,
Yeah.
for our channel and also my own personal stuff as well. Because I've got hours and hours of footage of all these
Mm-hmm.
places I've gone. I've never done anything with it.
Yep.
So the other thing I was looking at today, which would be pretty cool to get, is those slide bars where the camera goes and moves along.
Yeah, I do.
That'd be cool to have in the Santa sack as well.
Yeah, and imagine putting your Osmo Pocket 3 on that.
Be pretty cool.
That would be very cool. I like the sound
Mm.
of it. So yeah, we're going to hope I haven't let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, but we are going to do a little bit
Yeah,
more with the channel next year. And
it was like a 5-second discussion
true,
about 2 weeks
true.
ago.
That's right. But it's going to happen, right?
It's
So
going to happen. No, we want to mix it up a bit.
yeah,
And like I said, it might even be. I was thinking out loud now, like if we did like a 5-minute snippet or a 10-minute snippet of a tip or something like that, we could put it within the episodes on here. So
absolutely.
in the middle of the episode, we can have like a 10-minute break while we go out and show you how to shoot a sunrise or shoot a sunset or how we taking our bag, what we take in our bag, etc., etc. So
Stay tuned for that, folks.
yeah, it's coming. It means Brendan's got to edit more, which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's fine. I don't mind editing. That's fine.
It's not what
So
you say off air.
my hiking kit, well, my hiking camera gear is OM System OM5, as you know.
Yes.
My 8-25, which needs to be repaired, but now I've got a 7-14 as well. So I don't know which one will come with me on the 3 caves, but we'll work it out later.
Yeah.
I still have a very big gap in my system. And I am still on the hunt, Santa, for probably a 12 to something. Now, I don't know whether to go to the 12 to 40 or the 12 to 100. And being a landscape photographer, I'm starting to think the 12 to 100 would be great, but I think it's only f4, but that doesn't really worry me.
It is only f4.
That doesn't worry me so much, given that I've got the 7-14 f2.8 Pro. So there is a gap in my bag.
I would say the 12 to 100 is great, and it's got image stabilizer built in it too.
True.
So that's to me that almost offsets the 2.8 versus the 4.
Yeah.
But the 12 to 40 2.8 is also a good lens. It's pretty much your go-to sort of every run of the day, run of the mill type of thing. So yeah. So you might put one of those in Santa's sack as well.
That's right. And I'm going to shock no one here by saying that I wouldn't mind getting my hands on some kind of full-framed system as well.
Okay.
Yeah, whether that be Sony, Canon, Nikon. I have actually I wanted to do some research on the Z series from Nikon over the last couple of weeks for a friend of mine, Colleen up in Swan Hill, Barthy's missus. Barthy's missus. Anyway. Colleen Bath, who's a very good, very loyal listener to the show too. G'day, Barthy. She's had to upgrade, didn't have to, but she wanted to upgrade she had a D800.
Yes.
And was just finding the thing too bloody heavy.
Yeah.
So
this is funny as well.
The Nikon Mirorless system. So I've been doing a lot of research.
There was actually this very question was posted on the BFOP page this evening. Someone wants to go like word for, it might even been the same person. I don't know. Pretty much word for word that they want to change from a heavier system. So they said, I'm after some advice. Someone who will use different brands of mirrorless. What would you recommend? I've got an D850 and find it getting heavier. Okay. I've said it on the show before, and I'll say it again. The cameras these days are getting too heavy for people because there's lighter options out there.
Yeah.
But one of the good things, our good mate Glenn Lavender, who's happy birthday to Glenn today. It's his birthday today. Yeah, he's almost 60 apparently.
It can't be
59. So, but he made a good point that even though they're mirrorless cameras and full frame, there is so much weight still in the full frame lenses. So
Yeah.
you really don't save a great deal of weight when you go from a full frame DSLR to a mirrorless. So
Yes.
you definitely want to hold one of those with a prime or a 2.8 lens on there to feel, because I think you'll be unpleasantly surprised at how heavy they still are.
Yeah, but what I'm finding is the new lenses that are coming along. So
Yes,
Canon's RF lenses, Nikon's
they are lighter.
ZF lenses
Yes,
are incredibly light.
they are.
Quite impressed. One, I have got a little bit of a bone to pick with Nikon. When I was doing the research and looking at, in particular, lens compatibility.
Hmm.
So, can I buy an adapter and put old lenses on a new camera? You can. You
Mm.
actually can. And Nikon make a fantastic adapter.
Yes.
Here's the catch. They fit, they work, but only half of them are autofocus. So
Hmm.
the
Mm.
autofocus vanishes with the adapter on more than half of the Nikon lenses, which I think that's a bit crap. Um,
Yeah.
it's like a little sting in the tail. Oh, I've got this great new camera. Oh no. Okay,
Yeah.
now I've got to go and buy another bloody lens.
A few weeks
Very
ago,
wasteful as well too, and I'm not a fan of that. They should, these this glass should last forever, Cameron. So
it should. Like a few weeks ago, we had a discussion about me liking Nikon and had a bit of a play with it and was considering swapping over, and still haven't made a decision on that. So Julie, if you're watching from Nikon, still haven't decided.
of course she's watching. She loves the
Of course
show.
she's watching. She's going to sponsor next week, she said. So, and when I did play around with the Z system on top of Mount Hotham that day, they were impressive, and the lenses were a lot lighter than I thought they were. They're still heavy, but a lot lighter than what I thought they were. But Nikon over the years have done some interesting, funny things with their cameras, haven't they? Like they brought out those first Z series of one memory card, then they use that funny X compact flash card or whatever it is.
Yes, yes.
And then they had the adapter, and then the adapters don't use all the lenses. Some of them don't use autofocus, as you just mentioned.
I got
They
into an
they see.
argument with a Nikon rep years ago, a proper
Oh,
argument.
right.
Um,
Punches thrown.
Not quite that
Almost.
bad, but
No.
I can't even remember the guy's name, and I'm a little bit embarrassed that I carried on like a pork chop. They put out this camera called the Nikon One. I don't know if you
Yes, I
remember it.
remember that. I remember the Nikon one.
What an absolute dog's breakfast of a camera that was. They
Yep.
decided to put a compact camera sensor into a SLR style camera,
Yep.
so that they could brag about how fast it was. Yeah, because it's got no freaking data to process because it's
Yep.
shit.
You're still ranting about it.
Oh, it annoyed me so much. The marketing was so, I just felt like they were pulling the wool over everyone's eyes.
Yeah.
So it really annoyed me that they carried on like that. Oh no, it's this, it's that. So yeah, but the photo quality, it
Yeah.
was so bad. It was like taking photos on a potato. It was really
Or
terrible.
or,
And then they
or an iPhone
persevered.
15.
Was it called the V1? It's the one.
I think it was
Anyway.
the V1, I think it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just yuck. And they made lenses for it and everything. And they were trying to compete with what Olympus had done.
Yep. With their
And
little pens.
failed miserably. And I was just convinced I didn't want to stock it. We had to, of course, because we worked for Camera House. So, here, have all this crap to sell. Because we said that you have to.
I wonder what the spivs were on the end of that round.
Oh, mate, by the end of it, I think they were giving us 20 grand a camera just to sell the freaking thing. And even then we couldn't give it away. So yeah,
Those
yeah,
are the
no, it
days. I used to
wasn't.
hate fucking spivs. I used to hate
Oh,
them.
yeah. No, that's right. I used to love them.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't. It's like selling yourself to the devil. Well, it sort of
Yeah.
was, because the devil was upstairs.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah,
anywho,
no. Yeah, I know. I think getting back to your Christmas sack, I think yeah, it's nice to get Christmas presents with photography gear. But I think you got to have some little bit of an input in what people get you for camera gear as well, because it is usually
oh
fairly
no, oh, there's
expensive. And
no way I would let
mm,
anyone buy me anything photographic
yeah,
related. Just
no,
give me the
I'm the
bloody
same.
voucher.
Yeah, give me the voucher. Just cash is good. Cash works.
Cash is king, or give me
Yeah,
a voucher for Ocean Grove camera and photo.
look at you. So yeah, I'd love to hear if people could have something in their sack this year, what would it be?
Mm.
I wonder what the most common answer would be. If
Oh,
like
I think a lot of
let's
people like the idea of the fast pro lenses and things like that, which
yeah.
are just hideously unaffordable. I'm so
Mm.
annoyed the way I had this conversation with a local pro photographer today. about the price on gear, and I've ranted about this before, but
that's
yes,
stupid, isn't it?
they charge it because people pay it. I get it, but seriously, 5, 6, 7 grand for these bodies that are going to be replaced in 12 months' time with a better, newer model. And it does my head in, Cam. Like, and it makes it inaccessible for people. But Facebook Marketplace is your friend.
I was going to say secondhand. That's where, you know, if you're smart about your photography, you just play the game 2 years behind.
There's nothing wrong with giving someone a secondhand lens for Christmas. Why does it have to be new? Anywho, do you know what tomorrow is, Cameron? As we record this, do you know what tomorrow is?
The 21st of December.
Which means it is the longest daylight hours of the year, the 21st
of
December.
You be loving that.
We have reached that point already where we...
Is that the summer solstice?
That's correct. That is the summer
Really?
solstice. So, and it's bizarre because it doesn't feel like we should be here already, but we are. And then we turn the corner and head back to the short days again. But that's a long way off. We won't wish that away. But
do you want me to burst your bubble?
It's actually the day after that.
That's actually Friday. Yep.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's near enough. Near enough. We wanted to talk about, you know, can you get the end of year photography blues? The reason I get the end of year photography blues is because I'm tired and retail in December is big. Oh, poor Brendan.
Poor Brendo. The world's smallest violin playing just for you.
That's right.
Hey, feel sorry for me. I got the kids on full-time holiday at the moment.
I don't feel sorry for you for a second.
You don't know what busy is, mate. Jeez.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, geez, you know, you bending over at the waist, putting DVDs into DVD players. You poor bugger. Are you okay?
Who uses DVDs anymore? It's all streamed, mate.
Oh, that's an old stand-up comedian's bit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, the longest day of the year. And you are busy and tired, yes, and you can get the blues.
This morning I was up and at it at like 5:30. It's like, wow, there's the sunrise. That's nice. And then tonight it was like, oh, there's the sunset. So I've seen them both, but 12 hours apart.
Yeah. I won't tell you what time I got out of bed today.
Sorry, not 12 hours apart, like 16 hours
16 hours apart.
That's how long the day is at the moment.
Well, I think you're right though. Like obviously I've just got back from America and I took, you know, a few shots over there, but I'm not feeling it at the moment. Like I really, we actually had a beautiful sunset here last night with big rainbow over the water out near our house here. I did get the camera out for 5 seconds, but I'm not inspired at the moment. I'm just sort of thinking, you know what, at the end of the year, I can't be bothered picking my camera up or driving somewhere or walking somewhere. Or I sort of think that you get to the end of the year and you're like, okay, I'm sort of all photoed out a bit. And then, you know,
maybe there's a bit of that, but I think it's also, and we've talked about this before, and that is when is our favorite time to shoot. And it's always in the lower light seasons. So the more contrast, like the better light generally is autumn and spring.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you get the winter light as well, which is great. Summer light can be quite harsh. You know, hot days don't necessarily make for the best photos. So that has an impact as well. But I think you're right. I think there's a factor of, and it's obviously psychological because, you know, it's just a concept that now we're at the end of the year.
End of the year. That's right. Yeah. The year just goes on and on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And we sort of want to give our cameras a bit of a rest and not do it, you know, for a little while.
I think summer, like I was thinking about this today as well. Like, where, you know, I've got all these visions in my head of where I could get some really nice shots down here in summer. They all involve walking up the top of a bloody mountain. But in summer, what you do get is those beautiful long sunsets with all the layers and the haze through all the mountain ranges. And I'm up there next month. As you know, we've got our Down South photo show workshops and I've got some Olympus workshops. But I'm planning at some stage to go either up to the high country and do some sunsets and sunrise. I might even swag up on top of Hotham for a night or two and just see if I can get some early morning shots and late afternoon shots of all the layers and stuff like that. So there is things you can shoot in summer, but you're right. Like we get to the end of the year. It's not really the end of the year. The year doesn't end.
No,
it's just Groundhog Day. But I think Christmas time is a bit shitty as well. Like there's so much on. You got, you know, you're winding down from work, you're getting presents and stuff like that. That was the one thing in America that was quite interesting because they don't have a massive Christmas holidays. Like that's just the middle of winter. So it's just have a quick winter holiday and away you go. Where
that's right.
We get to summer. We're like, oh, summertime. We've got weeks off. We go down to the beach. We can more daylight. So yeah, it's different.
Over there. They have summer break. So they do
They have
it
summer break. That's right.
any other
So
time of the year. So they do it in June,
yeah.
July. So
But what I'm saying is they have their long break through a period of time that's not huge celebrations and things. It's just
yeah,
summer. We have summer celebrations. Then we have Christmas on top of that. So you're sort of double dipping your celebrations, and long hours, lots of drinking, lots of eating, lots of family
yeah,
arguments,
yeah,
lots of that kind of stuff. So it's
yeah.
a tiring time of year.
It
And the
is.
last thing you want to do is get your camera out and go drive somewhere or go walk somewhere and do too much after a big Christmas pudding and
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
I know, and it's funny because it's funny you say that because for me, I literally get to Christmas Day and fall in a heap. I do it every year, and this is
Yeah.
my 10th or 11th Christmas on my own, like working my own business in retail.
Yeah.
And then I do find though, between sort of Christmas and New Year, the bug starts to come back a little bit. I start looking at my
Yeah.
gear and hang on, I wouldn't mind getting this out and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm quite excited next year because next year, which is like in a few weeks, I'm off on the Three Capes walk with yourself.
We're
I'm
doing a
quite
walk. Yeah.
looking forward to that.
So am I. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be good, not just to catch up with yourself, but also just to get into somewhere I've never been before
Yeah.
and photograph it. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
I think that, yeah, I
I
think
think we
that's a
should
big
both
key.
have our DJI Osmo Pocket 3s on that. And
I think we should just go online and buy one now. What do you reckon?
there's an episode for you.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I agree. And I think having goals, and we've spoken about this throughout the last couple of years, having goals in your photography is really important.
Yeah.
Even if it's over Christmas. Like I know people that used to do the 12 days of Christmas photo challenge.
Yeah.
So they go out, for this day you got to shoot this and this day you got to shoot that. So yeah, setting yourself challenges through those periods where you think you're getting a little bit down,
Yeah.
a bit over photography, it's always good to do, or do something completely different.
Yeah.
Go do portraits or go shoot macro or go do
Yeah.
something completely different.
Yeah.
That can also spark your interest back up as well. So
if you're into New Year's resolutions, make one of them to take photography to somewhere you've never done it before.
Yeah.
Portrait is awesome. Portrait can really get you out of your comfort zone. I quite like, you might try some light painting. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Macro is always a no-brainer and very easy to do.
Yeah.
So there's lots of genres that you can have a crack
Yeah.
at if you're into New Year's resolutions, which I'm not generally, but that's fine.
Well, the other thing, just while you're on that, to New Year's resolution, New Year's fireworks work really well as well.
They do.
People do the fireworks and people get out in there, and that's
pretty
always
much
fun
the
one to
only
check.
thing that fireworks are good for is taking photos of, in my opinion, a bar humbug. We don't have a deer cam this week, but if you have a deer cam,
people are giving up on deer cam.
If you, that's right. We'll get back into it.
Needs a jingle.
Cameron introduced a new segment last week called Photography Word of the Week.
Yes.
Now, are you ready for this, Cameron?
Are you ready for it? You're the one who has to figure it out.
No, well, I'm just making sure that you're set.
I'm ready. I've got the meaning here in the book. So for those who aren't playing at home, this is the Focal Encyclopedia of Photography. It's a book I've had since uni, which is 20 years ago. And it's a big one. And it's got heaps of stuff. And I used to have all these little tags in here about stuff we studied. But I thought it'd be funny and entertaining and somewhat educational. You know how educational came in the third then? That's how we run this show.
This is infotainment at its greatest.
Infotainment. I thought it'd be funny to pick out a photography related word that Brendan doesn't know or shouldn't know. He hasn't looked it up. I've only put it in the notes a couple of minutes ago.
I have not.
He has to pronounce it, and he then has to give me an idea of what he thinks it is, and then I'll tell you what the official meaning is.
I'm going to have a look at the word is on the screen, and I think I can get the pronunciation right of this one, and that is halation.
Yes. Halation. Not jubilation.
No, halation.
Okay. What do you think that is?
I think halation. Now, I'm looking at the word and halo, like a glow.
Okay,
something like that.
Yeah.
Halation.
Halation for those playing at home.
So would halation be an effect? An unwanted effect of a lens, where it might sort of similar to like a sunspot or a lens flare kind of. Am I in the ballpark, Cameron? You give me
you're doing pretty well.
Okay,
it's not necessarily a lens effect as such. It's more of a light effect. So halation, bright light sources in photographs are often surrounded by a luminous halo.
Yes.
with a diffused outer edge. A night photo, no, a night photo, start again. A night photograph with street lamps against a dark sky is a typical occasion of such halation.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yep. I get it.
The sources could be several. If there's mist or smoke in the air,
Yes.
it will scatter the light and be seen by the photographer and the camera. So it's the glow that is illuminated off the lights,
Yeah.
sometimes affected by atmospheric conditions and things like that.
Well, I'm giving myself a pass on that. I think I got that
Yeah.
one.
If the camera lens bodies are not treated to eliminate these reflections, you can get flare. So the flare is what
Gotcha.
is created optically, but halation is, I guess, what causes the flare. So
Yeah.
well done. That was pretty good, that one.
Sometimes when you get the big ring around the sun, that would, I suppose, be a halation.
Well, it would be. That's actually moisture.
Yeah, that's right.
So you get those rainbows.
Isn't it
And
like ice crystals or something in the high atmosphere?
it
or
is,
something?
yeah. You can also get fog bows. Have you seen a fog bow?
I've heard of these.
Yeah, you get them a lot on the overland track actually, and because all the huts are in these little valleys, and if you wake up early in the morning where the button grass plains are, if they get a bit of frost overnight, they get the sun on them, it creates a bit of fog, and then the moisture in that air, you actually get, like at ground level, you get this beautiful circular rainbow,
Very cool.
which is very cool. It is. So
I like that. I like that a
Oh,
lot.
well done.
Thank you for word of the week. Beer donations this week. Thank you, Mel, for your weekly donation to the beer fund.
Can I put an asterisk on that?
Yeah, you sure can.
Mel,
last week.
No, it is. No, it's not all good. Not only did Mel buy us a beer, but Mel has also booked himself a seat on the October 2024 Utah trip. He took up the last spot that we're talking about.
That is extremely excited. I'm very, very glad that you've got such a gentleman as Mel coming along on that.
I said to Mel, that's awesome. But we have both these trips are going to be great. The second trip's actually a whole heap of people from a camera club that know each other that have booked that trip out. But the first trip is a whole heap of really good customers, and we are going to have an absolute ball. And Mel slotting into that sixth spot, that is just going to make that trip all the better for him. So
that will be a blast.
You know what I'm going to do on that trip?
Take photos.
I'm going to buy Mel a beer or two.
Yes,
or
you
10.
will. A Budweiser. Speaking of workshops, we've still got a couple of spots left on our workshops. dsps.com.au. We're not going to bang on about them. Go over there and check them out. dsps.com.au. While you're there, buy us a beer. Thank you very much. Cameron.
Right. Okay.
What have you got coming up now? I think this is the time where we take the opportunity to wish all of our listeners a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate with your friends and family. Hope you enjoy yourselves. Stay safe, all that sort of stuff.
Can you do like a graphic of Santa Claus flying across the screen in front of us?
Probably not.
Okay. That's worth asking. Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year, or Merry whatever you celebrate. You know, you got to be careful these days.
Whatever your thing is.
Yeah, from my side of things, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in for the last year.
Yes.
We've had a lot of fun this year. We're not going away anywhere soon. We're going to continue.
We are going to go
magic.
out with a bang for the New Year's.
Are we just? Are we going to fireworks?
Well, I think, Well, I think maybe December 29, 30, something. It's probably December 29. We'll put out another episode. So we will. Right. We're going to have a big wrap on 2024 in the next episode. So tune in for that. But, you know, I hope your Santa sack is full.
Yeah, never sounds good saying that. But yeah, hopefully people have a great Christmas and a safe Christmas. Look forward to hearing what you got. So feel free to dump on the Down South Photo Show Facebook page. Tell us what you got in your sack. Yes. If there's anything exciting or anything that
preferably. We don't want to know that you got a chamois for the car or something like,
or a bag of undies or a packet of hankies. But no, I'd be interested to see if you do get something that's awesome, please let us know in the comments.
Yes.
If you get that, whatever it is, $20,000 camera kit, or
I know one of our listeners is getting something awesome for Christmas, and I can't say any more than that.
Oh, you can say it off here. You can tell me, or is it me?
Can't even say that.
God. Right. That's it. What do you, so I got nothing going on. I'm on holidays. So
I've got, as we're recording this on the 20th of December, I now have 4 days ahead of me of full on retail. Thank you to everyone who has supported Ocean Grove Camera and Photo this month and this year. In fact, everything's trending in the right direction. We are up, which is great. Thank you so much. Keeping me nice and busy. to the point where I wish it was Christmas every month. But hey, what are you going to do? That's fine. Cranking out the prints, frames, canvas prints, photographic equipment, film, selling a bucket load of film, Cameron,
Right.
this Christmas. So, which is great. Exciting times.
So people in their sacks are going to get film
Mhm.
and like just wads of cash so they can go develop it afterwards.
That's right. Exactly, because you'll need it.
Yeah. Hey, if anyone gets an aerial print for Christmas, burn it.
That's right. Not a fan. That is it. That is the podcast. This has been episode 100 and scrolling up. Where are we? This has been episode 105 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you for episode 106 next week, and also our last show for the year. It's been a pleasure. Bye for now.
It has. Bye-bye. Cheerio. See you later.
Cheerio.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry and whatever you're into. Bye.
Who's Mary?